going to attack entities nearby, living entities nearby, to do damage, as well as attack. Attack. Okay, just attack plants within range. So basically, these two are your farming combination. One, the lashing vines is going to kill entities, and the grasping vine is going to grab their dropped item stacks. Actually, it's also going to grab the entities themselves. So they're going to be wrapped up in vines, then attacked by another set. Or the other one is the lashing vines are going to break the plants nearby, and the grasping vines are going to grab onto the dropped seeds and things. That's the farming combination, and that's going to take 4 slots. The some extensions to that, you can have another thing nearby. There's a bio beacon, which is one of the machines, another one of the machines we're going to be working on, which is going to increase the growth speed of plants. If supplied with water, can also water the farmland nearby. The spore distributor is also one of these boosting machines. That's going to be one that actually plants the seeds or cactus or sugar or mushrooms nearby. So there's going to be a set of 4 machines to kind of work on as part of your automation. And so those are the things I can. Those are the interesting things I can work on. Any preference on whether basically planting seeds, detecting plants nearby, attacking entities with basically a block, aka plant registration, or that's just going to be the interesting one, or like basically grabbing all entities within range and exerting a physics force on them, which is fun. I'm probably going to implement a particular thing on it so that basically what happened was if I had this is the magnetism thing all over again. I had a ore that would move entities close to it, except if you placed about 30 of these ores and placed about 30 entities, that's 900 checks. Basically, each ore goes to all 30 entities, and then there's 30 ores, so it's quote unquote quadratic, and it bogs down the server. So I'm going to be implementing something that stops it. It can only be grabbed by one vine at a time, basically. So that way, we don't get robbed breaking everything. Any particular idea? Or any particular want or need? Alright. I'll do the fun one. I'll do let's do grasping vines. Alright, grasping vines. So as I was just saying, I need to make something that prevents Rob from breaking the world. So what I actually need I need a hash map. This is going to be a map of mutable hash map. This is going to be from, actually, let me look at entity item real fast. Entity item. So basically, I need a map of entities. Actually, it doesn't even need to be hash map. This just needs to be a hash set. Well, there's weird random noises when you're typing. This? That's the escape key being pressed when Windows thinks that it's not doing anything. And the reason that's happening is because I'm using Vim hotkeys, and Vim's a modal editor, so I need to back out of the edit mode. So this is entity ID, but it's private. Yeah, I don't know how to turn that off. If I knew how to turn that off, I would. Trust me. Come on, give me a. I don't want greater projects. I want to see structure. There we go. Get entity ID. Okay. So I can just do this actually with an ints. I don't even need to worry about unless this has a hash. Sorry, I'm thinking right now. If this has a hash function, which hopefully makes use of entity ID, but it doesn't look like it does. Hash basically makes sure that it stays unique. Otherwise, if entity ID is unique, I can use that instead. It also looks like there's a UUID, which is a universal unique identifier. But it doesn't look like I can get the UUID, which is dumb. Why is it there if I can't use it? Okay. Anyways, so this just be a hash set of integers. Like so. So what basically is, whenever I add whenever I want to grab something, or when I do grab something, I need to just either modify or check the hash set. Sorry, how do I turn it off? Okay, doing a quick Google search. One second. Super secret stuff's going on. I don't want you to see my computer. Get to hear my awful. Of course, Windows 7. Only in your dreams, Bryce. Only in your dreams. Come on. It's not starting. Change system sounds. Okay, well, I found the spot to do it, and it doesn't want to let me do it. I kid you not. There we go. Haha, okay. It's default beep. Hold on, almost got it. I don't know why, but Windows is taking a really long time to open sounds. Oh, come on, Windows. Seriously. It's taking a minute to open up a simple... Oh, because it's already open in the background, but it doesn't let me know. There we go. Okay. Here, pressing escape. No sounds. Nice. Okay. 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 So, obviously, we're gonna be doing stuff. So we need to override server update. That's where we're going to be doing all of our things from. If I can find server update. Where's server update? There's server update. Okay. What do I do in super? Why is that a thing? Why is this a thing? Alex, what the hell are you doing? Okay, that's on the to-do list later. See, that's the problem, is sometimes my stuff gets modified. I mean, Alex did a great job, but in certain things. Okay, so there's a global list of what's being grabbed. I need also, I need a local list. So this is the stuff that my own vine is going to be, so this is of all the things that this particular vine has grabbed. So by default, it's empty, right? And the whatchamacallit, the immutable should be, not immutable, there's a term for it. The point being, the sum of all hash sets should be this set, and there should be no overlap. Each item, if it's grabbed by a particular vine, should be in this set as well, and no other vine should have it in its local set. I'm thinking I probably should make this thread safe. How can I do that? Okay. So let's make a quick, easy function, grab item. So item, entity, item. Grab entity. What am I talking about? Because grassy vines don't care. They grab everything. So if grabbed hash set for this, basically I want constant time lookup. I'm anticipating that there could be a pretty large set of objects that are grabbed by vines. Shut up, Rob. All right, a pretty heavy set of objects that are grabbed by vines. And in that case, I don't want to have to look through potentially like 100 objects every time I want to add more. For example, a pretty heavy farm. The hash set, at least, even if it's not overridden, it's going to, the way it's going to work is that it can find it in constant time, basically, and insert in constant time, and remove in constant time. Probably amortized, but constant time. If I'm using an array, I don't get that I have to look through the array until I find it, which could potentially take up to the size of the array, which gets worse as things go on. So I'm just heading off that problem with using a hash set off the bat. And then with the IDs are rather large integers. So if I'm using it, it's like indexing into an array. That array has to be up to the maximum size of integer, which is 2 gigabytes at least. So I'm gonna not do that. Actually, I'll Scala Magic. I'm just gonna have this return whether or not it actually